Alright guys, hope all is well. It's been a little while since I've done one of these videos. Did take some time away from the market slightly. Went into some drawdown, quite big drawdown, and then was kind of a bit of a psychological battle. So I wanted to just take some time to step away. Came back with vengeance, absolutely smashed it. Made back everything that I'd lost, and now running in some quite healthy profits. And it kind of just goes to show that even when trading isn't doing as well for you, as long as you are really strict and disciplined with it, you can always bring it back. So there's a few things that I've learned about myself, which is really good, and kind of how I've learned and dealt with these type of things. Even though I've been trading for quite a few years now, you'd never really stop learning, and doesn't matter if you've been trading for 1 year, 7 years, 10 years, 20 years, doesn't matter. There's always things to be learned. So I'm gonna do a video just about some really nice trades that I had this last week. And then I'm gonna go over the markets for potentially what is to come for this coming week. So let me just have a look a sec what news we have for this coming week. Um, Hang on, give me one sec, guys. So, for this upcoming week, we do have quite a big, hefty week. You guys can check Forex Factory and things like that. I need to be a bit more cautious about what I'm trading because I trade with FTMO now. I've got a funded account with them. So, Monday, light work. Tuesday, we have core CPI. Wednesday AUD news, Thursday AUD news, and then half one Thursday we have unemployment claims, retail sales, um, Fed Powell. We have a Fed Powell speech as well. Thursday and then Friday. That's about it. So not got too much heavy news, but we do have some news. Um, so always good to keep an eye out. So let's just go over from like the past week. So first of all, past week, I had USD JPY, which was the one that kind of really made a lot of my losses back. I was slightly a bit more aggressive on this trade. Um, but again, it just goes to show when you have like a really nice simple setup, it can work really well in your favor. So, USD JPY, we were bullish daily. We had shifted above this high here, and I was looking to target up here. And I'm still looking to target up here, only because yes, we are bearish. Dollar is getting a little bit more strengthening, and JPY is looking a bit more weaker, as you can see. As soon as we opened on this day, we had no wick, we had no liquidity sweep. Price literally just dumped. 4 hour, we did come into a fair value gate. You can see we had a really nice reaction from this, but I do still anticipate higher prices and even potentially coming back up in these zones. So for the time being, I'm just going to take it step by step. I'm not doing like massive swings or anything. Just taking little trades by little trades. So daily, we came off this zone, and naturally, as I'm sure a lot of people were looking, we had this fair value gap in here. We can layer it down into this zone here. 30-minute time frame, again scale it down into here. So this was my zone that I was looking for. I was really quite confident on this, but again it goes to show that not always the trades that you target win. So I was looking for price to come up here. My first target was just to take out this original Asian high. So first trade of the week was a loss, and I was like, sweet, amazing start to the week is what it is. And then I still have the anticipation of price coming up high. So we have this red line. So you can see here, this is WO, that's weekly open. And again, as soon as you can see, as soon as the week open, we literally just like died. There was no real sweep of this. This is Friday's high going into Sunday market open. No sweep. Whenever I see a sign like this, it's always telling me that price does want to be looking to take that out further in price. So I was aiming for this. We didn't get it. I did have a trade in and around I think it was around in here. Pumped up, didn't do too much, held it, and then got taken out of break even. And then my overall one then got taken out. That's fine. So now going later on into the week. So we have Monday, Tuesday, going into now Wednesday. We had an FOMC meeting. That's really the one that I was kind of homing in on. Price had created a massive bullish movement, and we traded back into this zone really quite cleanly. Oops, daisy. You can see we have this overall volume price coming into the 50% of that volume, really, really nice. And then we were slowly kind of trickling up. The one thing that confirmed this, as soon as we started to break above this high, that was a bit more of a confirmation for me. We had a super small zone I was looking for in Asia before we start. In Asia, we had this little guy with a nice little fair value gap. This one swept this low, and you can see we swept this low, just testing and filling this overall fair value gap zone in here. As soon as price did that, going into London, we manipulated and then we started to shift structure here. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm really looking for anywhere within this zone to trigger me in. And you can see we had a really, really nice fair value gap here. So my original was off the hourly. My original trade was off this hourly. I had another trade. The first one was an order, the other ones were instant executions. And I had another position in and around here, I think, or I might have just wait, let me get to 1 minute. Uh, da, 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 Okay, yeah. So I have my original two hourly open, and then I had one at this 30-minute. And then as price was pushing up, we then created a shift in momentum, which was here. And we had our first fair value gap that was created. When price started to push within this buy count, I think I pretty much opened it literally right at the top here. And I had my stops literally just about there. And then I had my same overall target. So I had this overnight. So already that one trade was 14 times my risk of what I was risking on this. So I did go slightly a bit more aggressive on these only because I was a little bit more confident, and I was still using all of like the risk that I would usually use. I wasn't risking anything more like crazy. I wasn't risking like 3-4% or anything crazy like that. But they just played out really, really nice. So that was USD JPY. We literally came up. I put my stops all to break even, and I said, okay, cool. I'm just gonna wait and see if this takes me out. Then at least I'm taking something. My stop loss was literally, I think it was like in and around here. So I was securing profit from here, profit from here, profit from here. Only just like it was a few like a couple like 0 point something percent, but I was still banking something just in case this trade didn't like fall through. So I said, okay, cool. I'm gonna wait and see what price does in the Asia. Now, my girlfriend has started working. A few of her shifts are like super early in the morning. She's up at 1 a.m. and she leaves around 3 or 4 a.m. you like London time. So because she was up and about, I was kind of just like up and about anyway. And I was watching it, and price literally just mooned. Held another position. So that was a 1 to 4. The original was a 1 to 4. I did hold one of my positions all the way up into here. So that's going on into London, New York. And then as you can see, price has just been clearly um, holding zones. So as price was moving up, as we shifted above this high, I then moved my stops here. As price then moved above this London, rolled my stops into here, and then obviously the final target then got hit. My overall target was this Asia high, which is what I always say to you guys. Asia highs literally always get met and always get tested. But I didn't hold it to that high only because I was in some quite big drawdown. So this one trade really made me my drawdown back, which is really fantastic. And then I was like, okay, cool. I can now slightly chill somewhat for I can now slightly chill somewhat. I've got my account back into profit. So now we can just wait and see kind of what happens. So USD JPY, that was really, really clean. Then going into AUD JPY, same position sizing that I had. We had this zone in here. Could have refined that down to here, but I didn't. I just had mine off this imbalance. Daily. First of all, what confirmed this and this reaction was we had our daily fair value gap. Price, in my opinion, I'm still looking to hold this too. I want to see if we can take out this high or even we did come in and fill this daily here, but there's still a little bit more liquidity up here that I was thinking that needed to be taken. So price came up. We on the daily, we created a market structure shift, amazing daily bullish. That's my confirmation. So now all I've got to do is just sit and wait. Our high is lining up with the 50% of this zone, which again is really, really nice to see. We then came down, we had a strong reaction, and I was a little bit gutted because we didn't. I wanted to be in this, but this happened literally 11 o'clock. So as soon as the market like opened for the rollover, and then we can see price just kind of trickled down and didn't really do much other than generate liquidity. As you can see, we still have a massive pocket of liquidity within this section. So I was already confirming, looking for slightly higher prices anyway. And I said, okay, cool. What have we had down here which could confirm this? We had FOMC meeting, same as USD JPY. FOMC came out. We dumped, we pushed, and then we came back down, but we triggered in my position. And I said, okay, cool, I'm going to use this as a target for me. So I had position one, which was here. Amazing. Going into New York session, we had another shift and confirm here. That's our market structure shift. Anywhere within the 50% of this kind of range, I'm looking to see if there's either a supply zone, a fair value gap, anything like this. So we have our high, high, low, higher, high, waiting for anywhere within the 50% of this range to get filled. You can see, hang on. So you can see this is our range. 50% was in here, lining exactly up with our 30-minute fair value gap, which caused this big break again. Same simple scenarios, and we then hit a 3.7 R and then the other one continuing at 3 R. So that's already 6.7 R on that one. We had around, so the first one was around 4R, but I had two or three positions in this, so 4, 8, so around like 12R on this one, and then this one 12R plus that was altogether now this is going into 18R, so 18 times my risk of what I'm using. So had those two really, really amazing, and then we hit a target, fantastic. Near more at the beginning of the week, what was this? This was Wednesday, so this was kind of all on this. Yeah, so I had USD JPY on the Wednesday. Actually, no, sorry, it was the no. So I was in drawdown before anyway, just from doing stupid mistakes. Had pound Swiss in the day, which brought me back up, which was doing really nice. Then I had USD JPY, which I was holding, and then going in from USD JPY and AUD JPY, I then had that closed down pound Swiss Wednesday evening. FOMC hit me out. I'll talk about this one in a minute. USD JPY triggered me in. Same with AUD JPY. And then going into London, going into New York next day, as I was holding these, I was a bit more chill, waking up for London, and then another entry position, boom. So at this point, I was up in some like decent profit, or it's just kind of around like break even, or just within like a percent or like half a percent back in profit. And then we did have UK oil as well, but let me just talk about pound Swiss. So pound Swiss, really, really nice trade. We had um well, overall we kind of been like slightly a bit bullish, and I was waiting to see if we were going to get either reaction from this zone in here, or if we were going to dig a bit deeper and go into this zone in here, which we didn't clear. So price had run. So we had Monday. So NFP, this was NFP, and price came down. And then we just, as soon as we started opening on Tuesday, you can see there was no like real sweep of liquidity within these zones, especially in Asia. And you can see we had these equal lows for me. And I was like, okay, cool. I want to see if we can target anywhere within here and kind of look to take some sells. This was a really, really nice textbook setup. We had Asia session going in, and you can see as soon as we come to Asia, price rolled. We came up, was looking to see if we were going to take out that high. We didn't, and then price then rolled over. Super simple. Again, I'm pretty sure. I don't think this actually came into anything. Yeah, okay. So we came in. So we had our market structure shift lower. I'm pretty sure we filled 50% of this Asian range. Yeah, we did. So when you're trading, if price doesn't come and test an Asia high or test an Asia high or low, sometimes you'll see price actually react around the 50% or like above the 50% within like the Asia range. So my Asia range is from here all the way down to here, and you can see price came in into the 50%. We came in, we tested, and then we dumped market structure shift. That's my confirmation. I'm just looking for a zone anywhere within here which price could react from. We had a 15-minute fair value gap in here, and then we had this guy in here. So price then came up. We literally absolutely creamed it right in the middle, 50%, and then price literally just dumped going all the way down into our Asia low. So that's another 5.8R. So we was already at 18, so that's 23R already. I did not make 23%, let me just clarify. I just made 23 times my risk on all of these like other positions. Um, so bearing in mind I was in drawdown, so I had to be aggressive but slightly a bit more conservative with my risk. And final last one was UK 100. Not UK 100. UK oil, sorry. So again, UK oil, really, really clean. This wasn't actually the trade that I was in, but this was just like a nice setup that I was looking for. But off the back of that, we started to shift above. So first of all, UK oil dumped really, really hard, and I was expecting and I wanted to see some price kind of push up a little bit higher. From here, going into where are we? Going into Friday, Sunday, market opened, created a fat gap in the market. Monday opened, Monday, Tuesday, we ran. Wednesday start to roll back down. I wanted to see if we could come in and fill anywhere in these gaps. And you can see we had a really nice zone in here. This is 1 a.m. Asia. And then price literally ran. So off the back of this trade, I had this position in here. So I could have been slightly a bit more aggressive on this, but I was already in some nice profit at the time being, so I didn't really want to like run and make like a massive scene of it. So price came down. We tested our Asian range in here, and then what confirmed it for me was when we shifted above this high. So we shifted above that high. Brilliant, fantastic. This is my confirmation. We had a 15-minute for Valley Gap, which I entered kind of a smaller position on. So entered a smaller position on. So we had from this week to this week, you can see we came in and field tested it. That was really, really nice. And then the main one for me was when price really confirmed this break above. I was just looking to see if we were just going to continue running with the highs, simple fib, OT1. This is my range. Yes, you could have most definitely gone into this from this open of the fair value gap. I was just focusing more on this zone, and I could have made it a bit tighter and gone into this zone, but I didn't. We had it from here, and I was targeting. Where are we? I was targeting. I could have targeted the highs. But I just wanted to target to here. I didn't really want to be holding my trade, especially on oil overnight. Yes, we did run more. That's fine, is what it is. But at 3.5 R, I was already pretty sweet, and I had a pretty good this week. So another 3.5 R. So that's what 26.5 R. So really, 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 really locked in this week and absolutely fucking smashed it. I was really proud of myself, and it just really just goes to show that you can be at the beginning of the week. I was in super heavy drawdown, and going into the end of the week, I'm now plus 4% in profit on my funded account. So absolutely like amazing week, an amazing result, and it really just does go to show if you can and you are willing to just kind of lock in and you're looking to smash it, these things like are possible. And don't let one thing that really let me down is don't let one bad trade kind of spoil um spoil your account. There was another position that I was looking for on Ethereum, but I mean, fucking hell, look at that. That's insane. I didn't place this. I just had this as the setup. It was on a 30-minute time frame. Yeah, off of this fair value gap. Honestly, market structure shift, fair value gap, that is literally all you need in this game, and it's actually crazy. It's so powerful. So again, literally shifting momentum. This is showing me bullish intent. We had price come down, test our zone in here. You can see bang, 50%. As soon as we had that 50% price, showed some intent with this bullishness. We came back down and then we started shifting above this highs, closing, created that 30-minute fair value gap, and I was just targeting the high. That would have been another 2.95 R. I didn't take this because I didn't want to be going too fucking crazy. But I mean, as you can see, shoulda, woulda, coulda. I'm not saying that I should have held it because A, I wasn't going to enter this trade, and if anything, I would have literally only ever held it to this high. But let's just say I did hold it, that would have been a 1 to 11, which is insane. So again, like this really, really, really does go to show how powerful this strategy is and how powerful it is when you actually just really lock in with your mind and actually just really focus on what you want to achieve. And there's been so many times where like my training has been so amazing, and I'll just have one trade that will just like trigger something in me, and like I'll take a few more losses than I shouldn't do. And it is really frustrating when that happens, and obviously shoulda, woulda, coulda, and all that. And back in hindsight, it's never a good thing, but these lessons are always like really good to learn. And all you need, honestly, is literally like two, three good, solid trades for the week, and you're literally golden. With some of these, I now actually pass another account, which is fantastic. So yeah, it's just crazy how you can really just change and change your position just within 1 week of trading. So, with that being said, what I am gonna do now is I am gonna delete everything off my charts. Um, So what I'm going to do now is just I'm actually just going to do what I'm looking at for the week ahead. So usually what I do is I'll flick through a few pairs and kind of just see what we have for the coming week. So daily, let's go USD JPY. Daily, nothing really too heavy. Could see anywhere within this. So usually what I'm doing, whenever I'm doing my daily, you can see this is a really, really nice area of supply and demand. When I'm doing my analysis on Monday, I would say like 7 times. No, not 7 times. Like half of the time when I do my analysis on a Monday, on a Sunday, Monday rolls around, and when the market opens, it will do something completely different. So Sundays never should never be your like solid. That is my plan for the day because all of these trades that I caught all of this week, all of them were after Tuesday. So the positions that I was actually looking for hadn't even on the Sunday hadn't even come about. So it's really important that you're like monitoring throughout the day. If you can't monitor throughout the day, that's completely fine. As long as you're monitoring like in the evening and in the morning and in the evening, that is like the most you can do. And like if you are like working slightly a bit more like full-time job, definitely using like the daily and the 4 hours is gonna literally be your best friend. And I know setups take longer and they don't always happen as quickly, but you really can do it that way. And if I'm gonna be honest, swing trading or like using the high time frames when you're trading is so much more profitable, even though they're slower and it'll really tap in on your patience and discipline. The overall way of trading, in my opinion, is actually so much more profitable. You're being more patient, there's less setups, and you have a lot more room in your stop loss and things to actually breathe. So for me, swing trading has actually been like a really good outlook for me. So we have this zone in here, which we could come into. We also definitely could come back into this zone in here. I would not be surprised if price came all the way down, and don't think that price couldn't do that because where were we on Monday? Monday we died off. So what was this? 190 pips. 190 pips, around the same sort of potential move. So I wouldn't be doing anything in here. What you can do is if you have your high time frame zone, you can wait, and if you then get the shift in momentum, you get the fair value gaps, you get the liquidity sweeps, then you could be waiting. If you then get a confirmed break, that's even more of a confirmation, and then you wait and then you look to get in your position in here. So again, it's almost like the same as what I did down in here. We had the first shift in momentum, which is here. Then we had that second shift of momentum, which is here. And then we had our zone. And one thing that I've really like learned as well is the way I trade, it's a lot of it is all orders, other than like I have my original order and I might scale down into a position. You're never gonna, you should never have the fear of missing out if you're placing orders. Even if like the market like runs slightly, there's always gonna be somewhere you can get back in. It might not be like the cleanest one. Let's say that you wanted to get in USDJPY and you missed this whole run. There would have still been another position for you to get in here, and that still would have brought you a 5R. You know, you're risking 1% on a 100K account. 5R, that's 5K you can do just on one trade in one session just because you actually waited slightly a bit more for those confirmations. So patience really, really, really does pay, and like I know it's so much easier said than done because I've literally been in so many of the same positions you guys have been in. Believe me, anything that you guys feel like potentially embarrassed about or whatever, I can guarantee you I have done exactly the same or even worse. I've blown funded accounts, challenges, I've fucking blown like you name it, I have literally done it all. So don't ever feel like you're bad because when you see people on Twitter or Instagram and they're all fucking killing it, all this profit, blah blah blah. Not a lot of them ever show you the losses, and not a lot of them ever show you like the downside of trading as well. And it's very easy, very much easy to show people, oh yeah, I made 6, 7K on this trade, but you go back a few years and you know it's a completely different story. So never feel ashamed. All learning, and you're literally learning to do what almost like 90% of people in the world try to do and fail. And if it was that easy, literally everyone would do it. So never be too hard on yourself and just never give up. So USD could definitely see a move in here. If not, could run it back down into this Asia low in here. And then we have the confirmation. Now, I have to be slightly a bit more patient now with my trades because I am starting a new job and I'm not going to be behind my computer as much. So I have this rule with FTMO where you can't trade 2 minutes before a news release or 2 minutes after. So I got a 4 minute window of a trade, and if the trade hits your stop loss, hits your target, or enters you in a position within that 4 minute window of high impact news, you can violate your account. So for me, it's even slightly a bit more frustrating. But I mean, with the FOMC one, I would have been uh okay with this because this one actually triggered me in. So FOMC comes out at 7. That's 7:01, 7:02, boom, that's 2 minutes. And then I didn't actually get triggered until 8 minutes past 7, which again is completely fine. Also, it only apply if I'm trading pound Swiss and a interest rate comes out for USD and my trade triggers with pound Swiss, that doesn't matter because they don't relate to anything. Um, so I will need to be slightly a bit more careful about that, but it should be fine. So USD I do want to see if we can maybe get somewhere in and around here. That's going to be nice for us to trade from. And again, same sort of scenario. If we can get that back down into here, and then we can maybe continue with the longs. We will see. We'll see. AUDJPY. Um, we do potentially want to see. Well, let's go daily time frame. Daily, we ran in here. We have our daily fair value gap. Price is still looking to push up above this high, and I still want to see if we can dig even more into this position here. How are we going to do that? Potentially a few options. Price we could run down, take out this low, actually give us a full test of this area, and then a full test of this area and run. That's one scenario we could do. Second is we hold and we react and we get triggered in on here and we do this instead. So that could be your trade one. That's a 3R. Nice. And we have our second trade, which is down here. That could be a 5R. Either both looks really nice. Again, I'm not gonna bank and rely on this because this is Sunday and going into Monday, we literally just could do completely something opposite, and I don't really like this in here. So this could entice buyers, and then we do something like that. That could more than definitely be on the cards. Do we have any lower fair value gaps? Yeah, we do have a slight guy down here. 30-minute, yeah, so could just be looking off of this zone. Again, I would have to be careful with that one because mm, 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 there is, where are we? Da, 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 da. So Monday, no, Wednesday and no, Thursday, there is a unemployment rate at 2:30 a.m. So 2:30 a.m. could be a bit more of a stickier one. But again, realistically, I know it says about in the rules like not trading a minute before and a minute after the news, and like it's kind of slightly a bit annoying because like if I'm in a position and news comes out and it hits my target, then I could get a violation for that. But kind of realistically, it is only 2 minutes before and 2 minutes after. And I mean, if we just go on the 2 minute time frame, you can see, unless it's like something in here, there's not really crazy, crazy, crazy moves that happen on a 2 minute. I mean, we had this move, this was 130, this ran 26 pips. So, other than like within here, I feel like it's not actually as deep as like everyone thinks. We do have this one though, which was slightly a bit deeper. We had five, again, 25 pip run on here. So it's really not too bad as long as it's like within the 2 minutes. But again, I don't really wouldn't really suggest trading like high important news anyway. And it again, it's literally just so pure manipulation. And again, you can even see going in from on Wednesday when I had this trade. This was 9, so we had 8 a.m. London. We kind of ran and we did test this zone down here. So 8 a.m. we tested and then we pumped. So there are still position obviously there's still crazy opportunities even when uh there isn't news. It's just slightly a bit annoying because I just got to be a little bit more cautious about things. But again, 2 minutes, like there's not loads that will happen in 2 minutes unless it's like NFP. But again, who really trades NFP because that's a bit too crazy. Um, so yeah, so that's ADJPY, two potential positions, probably looking more honestly at this position because if we this is our shift and structure here. So really our true swing, because this hasn't even caused a break. So you can either take it from here or you could take it down to this low. And again, you can see that one for me is lining up slightly a bit nicer. Price did roll down into the 50%, but again, we could definitely see a tag in here. So a few possible entries again. my position that I'm looking to get in on might not be where are we going into Monday, Tuesday. So Wednesday the 14th. So I might not even be in a position until about here. So we could literally go like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, fair value gap, and then taking it along. I mean, what day was that? I think it was on Thursday, honestly. Um, it was yeah, Thursday 2:30. So again, Thursday 2:30 we could be up here. So who knows? So yeah, AUD that's looking nice. Pound Swiss. I am looking for. Well, let's go the weekly. Weekly overall, looking for this position in here. Looking to take out this high. Do have a lot more fair value gaps up in and around this region. But this is like my main focus, that wick right here. So far we filled and tested everything in this. You can see we came down into a fair. We closed this fair value gap in here. We also swept that low, just slightly within here. I'm pretty sure the when market opened, it actually wicked down here, or my broker actually wicked down here. So again, now you can see we had this zone in here. And what did we do? We swept this low, and then price really started to push. When we had this move, this was there was a news release at 12. What was this? I will tell you right now. That was what day are we? Um, what day was that? Sorry. Thursday, the 8th of May. Friday, Thursday, the 8th. That was a bank official bank rate at 12. So again, official bank rate at 12. It was actually 2 minutes past 12. Um, so here again, if we go on a 1 minute, that 1 minute is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So again, pound, you really do have to be a lot more careful when trading because you can see just on a 1 minute, that is crazy. If I go on a 2 minute, yeah, look at that. That 2 minute candle is crazy, crazy. So a lot could have potentially happened for me on that trade. Okay, so going back now. So looking to take out this high, first of all, I'm gonna want to target this high in here. And if we drop it onto a 4 hour, what do we have? Okay, so we have this wick in here. And you can see with this wick, we swept this low. If I just draw my days of the week, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. Hourly. Hourly, you can see we came in just pre-market open and we filled this zone in here. If I drop it down, 30-minute time frame, nothing too crazy. 15-minute time frame, here we go. Could probably refine that into this candle, or if you wanted to be slightly a bit more, you could do it straight off of this candle, or you could do it straight off this candle. Keep dropping it down. What do we have? We have another overall fair value gap in here. So you really could potentially hold all the way into here. I probably won't do that. I will probably just swing my position slightly. So off here. But what we can do if we make that yellow and we make this do this overall zone. So we definitely could come down into that region here. Probably, I mean, what's the risk reward on those if I go along? 18 pip start. First target is going to be 2.5 R. Actually, no, I need to be looking to target. What's this? 2. So that's market open. Let's go down. So could even damn it. Could even definitely run. Oh, what am I doing? Could definitely run up into this high. Let's go 30-minute time frame. I don't know why that didn't do what I wanted it to do. So it's a 3.5 arm. That is still looking pretty solid, if I'm going to be honest. So we have our Asia high. We ran down into London here, which is our 8:37, 8 a.m. Boom, we ran. We use our fib from our high to our low. You can see ran into our fib really, really clean. And then we pushed again. If we take the same, do it from our high to our low, running into our fib again, really, really nice. Could get a lot more of a deeper retracement and then continue pushing up into this high. So if you guys got any questions, please let me know. I feel like that is all I'm really going to be looking for. This one looks probably like the nicest one. But if you guys got any questions, please let me know. Feel free to fire away and I will help everyone as much as I can. If you guys got any questions, please let me know. Like I said, I am starting a new job, so I won't be as much behind the market. But I definitely will still have like free time to be trading. But yeah, if you guys got any questions, please let me know. Feel free to fire away and I will help everyone as much as I can. All right, guys. Bye bye.